How's it going there, everybody? Uh, Welcome to our presentation that we're going to have today. Uh, this is a Promise Plus presentation. My name is Javi. I'm one of your peer coaches. And today we're actually going to be talking about the power to the transfer. So all of this whole presentation is dedicated to spaces on campus that you can visit at any time that you'd like that are geared to help you transfer. With that being said, I also have another peer coach with me, then I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself right now. So go ahead, Lazaro.
Thank you, Javi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our workshop. My name is Lázaro Cárdenas. I also work as a peer coach over in the Promise Plus program. I've been working here for since earlier this year. And so far, the experience of working in Promise has been very phenomenal and very rewarding to be able to see and connect with every one of our students as much as possible. So I hope you look forward to this presentation.
All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and get started then. Let's move on to the next slide. So a real quick wrap of our agenda. Today, we're gonna be going over first what it means to be a transfer. Second, we're gonna be going over the transfer hotspots, which are the areas that you can visit on campus. And also third, we're gonna be talking about our transfer setting culture. So with that being said, before we go into all of that, we do want to give credit where credit is due. All of this work, the transfer hotspots and the power to the transfer comes from Triple CP at UCLA, which stands for the Center for Community College Partnerships. And in specific, it comes from this book right here that you see, Power to the Transfer, Critical Race Theory, and a Transfer Receptive Culture. This book was written by these three wonderful people, Alfred Herrera, Santiago Bernal Melendez, and then Paul Jane. They have been putting in the work for years now to help community college students transfer out to whatever college it is that they would like. Their goal is obviously to get the students to come to or to go to UCLA. But at the end of the day, they do help you get to whatever university it is that you would like. And in specific, their research and their work is very critical. So they work specifically with underserved communities. So historically underserved communities like undocumented students, Black students, and so on and so forth, right? Students who have historically have had really, really low transfer rates from the community college to the UC. So with that being said, let's continue. And so what does it mean to be a transfer, right? This is the wonderful Promise Plus team. And like we said before, we're going to go ahead and get started with what exactly it means to us or to you to be a transfer. So normally we would pose this question to you, but since this is a recording, we're going to be answering these questions ourselves. And so the first one being, as a community college student, what does transfer mean to you? For me, it specifically means opportunity. And what I mean by that is that when you come to community college, it's like you get a second opportunity at, putting your best foot forward in education. I know specifically with me, when I was in high school, I really didn't care about school. I was not the best student. I cared more a lot about playing soccer than even going to school or putting in the work to get good grades. But once you come here to community college, it's like you get that opportunity to show that you can actually make something out of yourself out of education. And that's honestly something that community college did for me in a large part. I came to Mount Sac myself. I transferred out to UCLA and did things that I never thought I would have been able to do as a student. So when you come here to community college, just make sure and keep in your mind to not let your high school self get in the way of your college self, because your college self is somebody that you're going to be growing into, and it's somebody that's going to be super impactful and super incredible, and you're going to do amazing things. And with that being said, that was my personal take. But here at Promise Plus program, we do feel like being a community college student means a bunch of things. It means having resiliency, right? That you're able to overcome those obstacles, those hurdles that comes with being a community college student and juggling, your life at home, life at work, and so on and so forth. It means that, or many times it does mean that you're the first in your family. Community college has been known to be the gateway for first generation students to come into higher education, and it continues to be that way. Opportunity, like I was talking about. In addition to that, there's a lot of people that say that this is the best decision that I've ever made. Not only are you saving a lot of money when you come to community college and you're not paying those high tuitions, but you're getting the experience of being at community college and just growing with the community that it is being here, you know? And at the end of the day, you are an agent of change. Everybody who comes to community college, you are becoming an agent in change because you're breaking that negative stereotype that a community college is a dead end. You know, that only dumb people come to community college and all the negative stigmas and stereotypes that you usually hear about community college. When I was first gonna come here, everybody told me, oh, all you're gonna do is go to Mount and get stuck. You're gonna be there for years. You're never gonna transfer out. And I made sure to prove them wrong. You know, I transferred out to UCLA, graduated from UCLA. And just like, you know, I was that agent of change, and now it's your guys' turn to become that agent of change. Yep. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to Lázaro so he can begin to talk about our main topic, which is the transfer hotspots.
All right, thank you, Javi. So next we're going to be talking about transfer hotspots. So I'm pretty sure for many of you, this is the first time you ever heard of this term. And it may sound a little bit confusing at first, but we're going to go ahead and break it down. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, then. So for this next question, we would like all of you to think about and ponder what are some places at Mount SAC that can help you with transferring? And so to answer this question myself, one place that comes to mind would be obviously the Transfer Center. So with the Transfer Center, it's a very invaluable resource for students whose main goal is it to transfer from Mount SAC to a four-year college or university. And there are a ton of other places that can also count as Mount SAC having different transfer related resources. But overall, for most students, they think about the Transfer Center because it is that go-to place. It is the one with the most amount of information that they have in relation to the entire transfer process. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Transfer Center in a bit. But for now, let's move on to the next slide where we'll talk about our main topic for today, which is transfer hotspots. So what exactly is a transfer hotspot? So to break it down, what it basically means is that a transfer hotspot can be any place at a college campus where it provides different resources for students who are planning to transfer. This can include a multitude of different types of places. This can include permanent locations such as department. It can be a program such as student support program. It can be a less permanent location or a one-time thing such as an event happening on campus, such as like a transfer fair or maybe your club where they move around from place to place. Or it can be any type of open academic space such as just campus library. It could also be a lounge area within a student support program too. For departments, it could also be more important places such as counseling. It could be anywhere such as like the classroom itself. If their focus is to talk about transferring, it can be different places. And so never think that transfer hotspots are only limited to the transfer center, as many areas here at Mount SAC or any community college can have as many transfer hotspots as possible. And so within these many spaces, they will consist of staff or faculty that generally will have knowledge and resources, any transfer related information too. Some might have more information than others, some might have different types of information too. So it's always best to poke around and explore what exactly that each place and one individual has to offer too. The more you can network your way around as you begin to apply the transfer, the better off you will be. And so just as we were mentioning earlier, the transfer center is probably the golden place here on campus that all students will go to when it comes to transferring, when it comes to thinking about transferring, thinking about what universities you want to go to, when it comes to applying itself, when it comes to the post-application period, such as at this time that we're recording the video, as well as what schools you want to decide on once you start getting acceptance letters. And so we're going to talk more about this now, and I'll pass it back over to Javi.
Yeah, thank you, Lázaro. Like Lázaro was saying, Transfer Center, huge transfer hotspot, right? They have a bunch of different types of resources that you can benefit from, everything from virtual tours of different universities that you want to go ahead and attend, to the transfer specialists themselves. Whenever you have any questions about transferring, like how to fill out the UC application or the Cal State application, if you have any questions about tagging a school, which is transfer admission guaranteed, which means if you tag a certain UC or Cal State and you maintain a certain GPA, you automatically get accepted into that. All of these questions you can go to the transfer center to and meet with a specialist about. Because when it comes that time where the application opens up on October 1st, and then you have to up until November 30th to complete it, trust me, during that whole time, you're gonna have a lot of questions. And you can always visit the transfer center to literally sit in their space and work on their computers, and use the computers to work on your apps, to literally just meeting with them on a one-on-one basis. But not only that, they do have virtual drop-in hours, as well as in-person meeting hours. And one of the biggest resources, honestly, that they have is that they also have a student organization, which is the transfer club. So on campus, we do have a transfer club that all students can join, and just learn more about the whole transfer process, everything from the applications to the different UCs and what they have to offer, privates, Cal States, everything. So Transfer Center, a huge resource, huge transfer hotspot here at Mount SAC that you should visit. And with that being said, this is some more information about it. The Transfer Center is located in Building 9B, Student Services, on the second floor. In addition to that, their hours of operation are from Monday, 8 to 7 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m., and on Fridays, they're from 8 to 4:30 p.m. That's when they're open. This is also their phone number and their email, and we will be sharing these slides with you so you can have this information yourself. And with that being said, we're going to go on to our second transfer hotspot, which is the Counseling Center. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this first, and then I'm going to go ahead and let Lázaro finish it up. So the Counseling Center is a huge resource, just like the Transfer Center. And the reason why it's a transfer hotspot is because when you begin to get ready to finish, or when you begin to get ready to choose your major, and once you know what major it is that you want to transfer out with, you need to be meeting with a counselor in order to know what classes exactly it is that you need to take in order to get to that academic goal that you have. The counselors will lay out for you exactly what math courses, what English courses, or what writing courses and lower division courses you need in order to transfer into whatever major. Do not listen to your friends in terms of asking them what classes it is you need to get to a certain university or to transfer out, because everybody has a different ed plan. Okay, just even if you're the same major, that does not matter. Make sure that you meet with a counselor and you're asking them exactly what classes you need, because let's say you and your friend are the same psychology major, but you want to go to UCLA and your friend wants to go to Cal State Long Beach, you're gonna have different classes that you need to complete. So counselors, super important that you meet with them. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to Lázaro so you could talk a little bit more about the counseling center.
Other things about the counseling center that some students may not know about is when it comes to the ways that you can schedule a counseling appointment, there are primarily three different ways. One is if you want to do a counseling appointment through phone call, when you want to do one through video or on Zoom, and then there's also one in person. A little tip that I would want to give to students is that if you do want to meet with a counselor, try to meet with them as early as possible prior to the start of a new term. So if let's say it's somewhere in early August during the summer break, and you want to try and meet with a counselor to get ahead of the game, please try to do that, because by the time the semester rolls around, a lot of students are going to start to book appointments, and it could be up to a few weeks before you have a chance to meet with a counselor too. So sometimes counselors can do walk-ins, and so if you can do a walk-in with a counselor, try to take advantage of that, especially during the summer, during the spring, whenever there are gap periods available for you to meet with a counselor too. And it's also good to always try and maintain close relationships with your counselors. One other thing I do want to point out is that there is a stigma that goes around at times that counselors may not always be the most reliable people out there. And so as a result, students may be a little bit uncomfortable or intimidated by going to meet with one. So we know that for a fact that based on some of our experiences in high school, our counselors may have not always been the most reliable either. And I know for a fact that with my counselor, he did not support my decision to go to community college. And that was kind of rough for me, because I definitely needed that sense of motivation and confidence to know that this is the right decision I was going to make. And it wasn't until a while later that I found out for myself that I was on the right path. And so just to alleviate that stigma, I just want to point out that there are many counselors that are available, both here in general counseling, but also in different programs and departments who have their own specialized counselors. And so if one counselor doesn't work for you, you can always go and meet with another counselor next time around. And if that counselor is somebody that you can vibe with, then by all means continue to meet up with them, continue to build that relationship with them too, so they know exactly what it is that you're looking for in your major, for your ed plan, for your transfer journey, and hopefully for your career moving forward. And one other thing before I forget, this is the location and hours. So in the most simple sense, the counseling center is going to be right across from the transfer center. So if you know where one of them is, the other one's just going to be right across from the second floor of student services, which is building 9B. And so this is their hours of operation. For counseling availables in person, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 7, Friday, 8 to 4:30. And then on the phone, they'll be Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, and Fridays, 8 to 4:30. This is their phone number, and this is their email if you ever like to contact them through one of those methods. And lastly, we have the Completion Center. So some of you may have not heard of the Completion Center before, as it's a relatively new program that we have here on campus. And so what the Completion Center is essentially, it's kind of like a program on campus for students who are on track of finishing up their degree at Mount SAC. And so in the Completion Center, we have a variety of different specialists and counselors that students can meet up with in order to help them with finishing up their degree. So similar to counseling, where they set up your ed plan and they meet with you every now and again to check your progress, with the Completion Center, they're kind of the people that you meet as you reach in the end. So for them, they make sure that for them students who are in their second or final year at Mount SAC, they will meet up with them, and essentially what they will do is that they will give them on-campus or off-campus referrals. So they'll basically point out different types of locations, resources, departments, or services that they feel that the student is going to need a lot as they go into their final months, final terms here at Mount SAC. So specifically they cater to your specific path here, and they want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of what we have to offer. Other things that they do happen to do would include some priority scheduling with completion counselors. So as I just mentioned, we do have counselors here as well. We also offer personalized guidance and support to our students, and referrals to on-campus and off-campus resources, something I also mentioned. But also just as importantly, they offer milestone recognition ceremonies. So unlike some areas with here, they recognize, not only do they recognize how far that you've come on your academic journey, but they also want to celebrate it too. So at times they will do little events where they celebrate their students and tell them that this is amazing, this is everything that you did. We congratulate you, we support you. And it's little moments like that that really do make a difference in a student in the student during their time here in community college, because with all the ups and downs that we go through, at times it does help us to know that people there do recognize all our hard work and efforts. And so the Completion Center is a place that does that as well. And of course, the space is going to be open through different times and days of the week, which we'll talk a little bit more about right now. So if we can move on to the next page. So exactly where is the Completion Center? The Completion Center is going to be located at building 327, and that is going to be just right next to Student Services on the left-hand side, so to the west. So their hours of operation are normally from Monday to Friday from 8 to 4:30, and they also have virtual office hours too if you'd like to meet with them virtually. Mondays from 1 to 3, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays from 9 to 11, and then 1 to 3, and then Fridays from 8 to 11. And here's their contact information, both their number and email, if you ever like to get in touch with them.
All right. Thank you, Lázaro, for wrapping up the Completion Center. So the Transfer Center, the Counseling Center, and the Completion Center, all centers that are ready to help you with all of your transfer and academic goals. So whenever you can, just go ahead and visit them. And that way you can get your transfer journey started, And with that being said, we're going to wrap the presentation up with talking about our transfer sending culture. So where do you want to transfer to, and why does that school stand out to you? These are the questions that we want you to go ahead and start thinking about in your head. We want you to go ahead and start marinating those questions in your head, just because when it comes time to transfer and when you decide on a school, you want to make sure that you're 100% sure that that school is a good fit for you. Not that you're necessarily a good fit for the school, because it's going to be you who's attending the school. It's going to be you who's maybe, if you decide to dorm there, is going to be living there every single day, day in and day out. So make sure to visit as many campuses as you can. Look into the programs, into the majors it is that you're interested in, into the extracurricular activities too. The social life and whatnot. Make sure that whatever it is that you're choosing, you're 100% sure that, you know what, that university, that's me, and that's where I want to be. And with just the final words that, me and Lázaro can leave you with, we did go ahead and write down some quotes that we wanted to talk about, to make sure that you feel encouraged and you feel reassured that your journey here at community college at Mount SAC is very well supported. I actually wanted to go ahead and add the second quote that you see right here. It says, education is a journey, not a race, so go at your own pace. And what I mean by that is literally that, take your time when you're here at community college. I feel like a lot of times students get caught up in wanting to transfer out to the best you see, to USC, to Berkeley, to wherever it is that they want, that they forget to enjoy their time here at Mount SAC. Mount SAC is a wonderful place. There's so many events that you could take advantage of, so many amazing people that you can network with and connect with. And I want to make sure that even though the goal is to transfer out, that you're still enjoying your time here. I know when I was here, I was able to take advantage of so many opportunities. I was, a part of a lot of programs where I was able to present and fly out to places like Oregon and whatnot. And honestly, like I really enjoyed my time here at a community college at a Mount SAC. I felt like I was able to grow and gain so many skills here before I even transferred out to the UC. And by the time that I transferred out, honestly, I felt so much prepared than even a bunch of students that were already at UCLA for the previous 2 years. So yeah, and in addition to that, it doesn't matter how many years it takes for you to transfer out or to get to whatever academic goals it is that you have. Everybody has a different life. Everybody has a different story. So it's a different type of grind. And we need to learn to respect that and validate that in ourselves, because it's okay, it's life. You're not just a student, or actually, I'm gonna let Lázaro talk a little bit more about what he has to say in terms of his quote, because I was about to mention something about his. So I'm gonna pass it back to Lázaro.
Thank you, Avi. So for the quote that I chose, which would be the first one, I wrote down, "You are not just a student of academia, but a student of life." So what that means is that we are always learning new things, both inside and outside of the classroom. So just because you may be wrapping up your college journey here at Mount SAC doesn't mean that you're going to stop learning new things. Every day when we wake up, every day that we go from one place to another, we're always experiencing something new, and that only adds to our experiences as human beings. Because as humans, we're curious. We want to always know more than what we already do. And so I think that as students of life, it's something that resonates with me really powerfully, because it makes sense. Like years after you're done with school, that we know for a fact that our journey to become the next best version of ourselves is never going to end. And that's a goal that we always want to strive towards, to become the next best you. And how exactly are you going to become the next best you? By learning, by growing, by loving, by laughing, by enjoying life, by putting yourself out there, by seeking discomfort. Sometimes it's not always easy to make these bold leaps, but a lot of times it's these leaps of faith that are going to define who we are, and are going to build a little bit of that puzzle that is essentially who we want to be. And so I really encourage you to continue learning as much as possible. Take advantage of everything that we have here while you're still at Mount SAC. Take advantage of those resources and individuals who you meet up with by the time you transfer over to the university, because I guarantee you that those experiences are going to be really invaluable. They're going to be very memorable. You're going to be very happy that you take those leaps of faith too. So I'm really hoping that these quotes do resonate with you too. And speaking of quotes, I also just want to quickly point out the last quote we have in the bottom, which says, "Your success is our passion." And so I'll just share a little bit about my perspective and how they can share his too before we wrap it up. And so for me, I see it as a promise to the students that we serve, not just for our promise students, but for every student here at Mount SAC, both past, present, and future. So for us, the thing that makes us the most the most happy, the most exhilarated about being part of this community is that we get to see students grow, and we get to see their successes come to life. And so every time we are able to help one student get a little bit closer to their goal, we know that we're doing the right thing, and we know that we're doing our jobs to help students push themselves further than we could have ever imagined that they could have, and even further than how we ever did as students ourselves at Mount San Antonio College too. So the more we do that, the more we know that we're doing the right thing, and it helps us too with fueling our passions to continue helping more students further down the road too. Anything else you want to add, Avi?
Nope, I think Lazaro said it amazingly. Since the day that you become a Promise Plus student, we're here to support you academically, in life, and with whatever questions it is that you have. Your success is most definitely our passion, and we're here to make sure that you're successful in any way possible. And with that being said, we do want to mention a couple of things that we want you to keep in mind in order to be more prepared. So one, check your emails regularly. Check it as regularly as possible. Here at Promise Plus, we're going to be emailing you with updates constantly. So you need to be checking literally your student email every single day. Treat it like it's your Twitter, treat it like it's your TikTok, and make sure you take a couple minutes out of the day every day to scroll through it and see what's new. In addition to that, speak to your counselors, mentors, and femtors. We want you to go ahead and make those connections here on campus. We want you to go ahead and start networking with your counselors and whoever it is that you decide as to be your mentor or femtor, whether that being your professor or another staff or faculty here on campus. A lot of the connections that I made when I was here at Mount SAC, I still have today. I still hit up my counselors to write me letters of recommendation for new positions or new jobs that I'm applying to. So those friendships that you make here are going to go a long way. Continue to research universities. Always be researching those universities that you're interested in, because you want to make sure that you choose one that's a good fit for you. And once you get accepted, just remember that the university is lucky to have you as a student. You're not lucky to be a part of their institution now. It's you. You're the person who they're lucky to have, because you're a beautiful person. And in addition to that, make sure to ace those classes. Try to get as best of a GPA as possible, and just make sure that you're trying your best in your classes. And then to stay connected with us, we do have Instagram, we do have a YouTube channel, and there is our information right here posted on the slide. Like I said, we will be sending these slides to you, but that does wrap up our presentation. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you learned a lot. We hope you leave this presentation with your hearts just a little bit more fuller and feeling very well supported. Because here at Promise Plus, that's what we do. We promise to help and support our students as much as possible. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day as well.